Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your brother Yahya Ibrahim sharing with you a little bit about faith and what Muslims believe in. The very last aspect of faith, not because it's the least important, but just in its chronological order, is a belief in fate. Al-qadar, khayrihi wa sharri. It's good and bad, it's sweet and it's bitter. Fate is something that is not easy to speak about. Imam Shafi'i tells us that when you speak about fate, speak about the knowledge of God. Fate means, what does God know about us that we have not yet done, which is everything. God knows what is, what was, what will be, and what could be, even though it will never happen. His knowledge is absolute and not just of observation. But knowing that God knows even what could be, even though it will never happen, is evidence that Allah does not force us to do the things that we will do. And therefore you and I has a freedom of will inside the fate that is known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore there's no ascription that we can make between us and Allah. There's no example where I could say, well, it's like this, because the knowledge of God and the power of God and the will of God transcends us. It is entirely possible that two wills simultaneously, I'm talking in terms of logic, just pure math, leave theology out of it. Can two things want the same thing simultaneously at the same time without each knowing that they want it? The answer is yes. Now with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if that is a logical premise that can be fulfilled logically, mathematically, then we can also assume that the Almighty Allah can will something for us that we independently will for ourselves that matches what Allah has willed for us, even though He hasn't compelled us to do it, but knows it is a will within us. Fate is something that reacts within us. There are things that will happen to us that we couldn't change. Something was to fall onto me now. It's not where I was standing or what I did wrong. It happened. And it was something known to Allah before it happens. And there is nothing that I could have done to change it. There's another aspect of faith, which is things that I allow to happen because I'm negligent. Those are also aspects of faith, and it's because of my disinterest in my affair that has brought it into reality, but that is also known to God. And there are third things that are within us that are occurring that are beyond our control. Cells that degenerate, may Allah give us good health, cancer that begins to grow. It was predetermined in our genetics even before we were born. Consciousness is a very important aspect of scientific study. One of the things that you will learn if you read a little bit about the literature is that the concept of free will is very much an imagination. It's very much something unsubstantiated. We at times seek this freedom and think that we will do the things that we do because it's our choice, but there's so many sensory observations that we've made throughout the totality of our life that people can actually predict some of the choices we will make years from now from our very presence today. With Allah, it is not about prediction. It is about knowledge of His creation. أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. Does not the one who created know best His creation? And therefore the knowledge of fate is that we submit to the will of Allah, that we have an acceptance of the good and the bad, and that we know that there is nothing bad that is greater harm than the good that we will receive from it. There is always in the creation of God more good that comes out of any tragedy than harm that is found in it. That is the orthodox belief for us as Muslims. The very last thing that relates to fate is to know that we can change it. Through our devotion, through our dua, and through our efforts, you can literally make a dua that lengthens your life. Your mother's prayers for you can lengthen your life. Your supplication can increase your rizq, your sustenance, your health, your wealth, your well-being. So continue to pray and continue to make your devotions and believe in that belief that we have as Muslims, that the metaphysical is a reality, that what I believe in my spirit and practice can change my real tangible world. I hope you've enjoyed this series. It's your brother Yahya Ibrahim. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.